What was Cash Money doing when P and No Limit was popping off?
I never knew him of no street.
Not in the streets.
Nah, I kind of knew him because he played basketball. Then they left and came back. I ain't understand it. Went to cards. They flies to California. Then Slim, they come in there and said, "Man, I'm sorry, we can't do the deal." He said, because Master P said, if we sign y'all, he leave. Cash Money, No Limit, that was real.
Yeah,
you know, they ain't with us, we ain't
Calio Magnolia project.
Nah, that's real. Went to cards. They flies to California. Then Slim, they come in there and said, "Man, I'm sorry, we can't do the deal." He said, because Master P said, if we sign y'all, he leave.
I could have brought Cash Money back in the days, you know, but they was from another side of New Orleans. I'm from another side, so it never really worked.
If you ask Master P or Birdman whether they ever had real beef, they'll swear up and down it was all love. But anyone who knows New Orleans street history knows that's not the full story. Behind the scenes, things were way heavier than they let on, and folks been whispering about it for decades. Master P came up in the Calliope projects while Birdman was rooted in Magnolia, two areas that never rocked with each other like that. And once you bring Birdman's brother Terrence Gangster Williams into the picture, a man tied to serious street situations, everything starts looking way more layered than they admit. People in the streets even claimed Birdman and Slim were using their own brother as a type of hitter. And one of the names whispered as a target was Master P's own cousin. When P's cousin got taken out, word around the city was that P was so hurt and furious he allegedly put a bounty on Gangster's head in retaliation.
From two different projects, so
right, that's what I'm saying.
It just didn't never mix, and me and his relationship never mixed.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Maybe the artists, but we didn't with each other.
That's when the quiet whispers turned into a full-blown storm of rumors, and everybody was trying to figure out just how deep this feud really went. Folks wanted to know if this was music competition or something way more serious. So how far did this tension actually stretch? Let's rewind for a second.
In the state, you confessed to killing how many people?
40.
What? You confessed to killing 40 people in the state?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
In the early to mid-90s, both Master P and Birdman were grinding like their whole future depended on it, building two independent labels that would change hip-hop forever. These weren't just artists, they were architects rewriting the business.
Master P, it was a rumor that it started from $15,000 to $30,000 to $100,000 hit out on me.
Master P kicked off his movement with No Limit Records in 1991, and at first it wasn't even a real label, just a tiny record store he opened in Richmond, California after losing his brother. But P wasn't thinking small even back then. He flipped that little shop into a full independent label, then brought the whole operation back to New Orleans, and that's when the real takeover began. By the mid-90s, No Limit had grown into a full Southern empire, and P locked in a distribution deal with Priority Records that had the whole industry stunned, an 85-15 profit split in his favor. Deals like that were almost unheard of, and it gave him the power to drop music at a pace nobody could keep up with.
With some back this fat making water spin his cash his last girl.
This move didn't just shake the game, it straight up changed it forever. Master P wasn't just releasing music, he was flooding the industry like a storm that never slowed down.
These bras icing it up while my little BG's on the bus putting out cigarette butts.
Every couple of weeks, boom, another project hit the streets, and No Limit's roster looked like a stacked all-star team. You had his brothers C Murder and Silk the Shocker carrying the family name, Mia X holding it down as the queen, Mystical bringing that wild, unpredictable energy, and even Magnolia native soldier Slim repping his hood heavy. Back then, he was still going by Magnolia Slim, showing love to where he came from with full pride. No Limit moved like a full machine, unstoppable and loud. Every release came stamped with that iconic tank logo and those blinged out pen and pixel covers that turned each album into a statement piece you couldn't ignore. Their branding wasn't just smart, it was iconic. The military themes, the No Limit soldiers chants, Master P always preaching ownership, loyalty, and independence. It all hit the culture at the perfect moment And the numbers proved it.
Went to priorities. They flies to California. Then Slim would come in there and said, "Man, I'm sorry, we can't do the deal." He said, because Master P said, if we sign y'all, he leave.
In 1998 alone, No Limit dropped 23 albums in one single year, which was wild for that era. You couldn't walk into a record store or flip through BET without bumping into a fresh No Limit release stamped with that tank logo. Master P's Ghetto D went triple platinum, and by the end of the decade, the label had moved over 75 million records worldwide. This wasn't just a label, it was a cultural takeover that pushed Southern rap into a whole new spotlight. Meanwhile, across the city, Birdman and his brother Slim were building their own empire with Cash Money Records.
You had mentioned that there was that Wayne was considering signing to No Limit.
Yeah, we both consider signing to No Limit.
Just like No Limit, they launched in 1991, but their early work stayed closer to the streets and the local scene. In the early 90s, Cash Money was putting out raw street music from acts like UNLV, Pimp Daddy, and a young Lil Wayne, who was rocking with BG in the Bee Gees duo at the time. For years, Cash Money was strictly a New Orleans movement, built from the ground up with pure neighborhood energy. Their tapes were moving heavy all through Louisiana, but the rest of the country still hadn't caught on yet. No Limit was flooding the charts, but Cash Money was loading up slow and steady, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Then 1998 hit, and everything flipped.
All I want is power, money and the power, money mafia.
Birdman and Slim shocked the whole industry when they locked in a massive $30 million distribution deal with Universal Records, one of the biggest hip-hop deals of that era. And out of that moment came the next generation of New Orleans stars, the Hot Boys. Juvenile, BG, Turk, and a young Lil Wayne turned Cash Money into the new face of the city, and their rise was only getting started. Once the big timers, Birdman and the mastermind producer Manny Fresh, stepped into the spotlight, Cash Money's momentum went into overdrive. That same year, Juvenile dropped 400 Degrees and it exploded, going 4 times platinum and putting the Magnolia Projects front and center on a national level. Back That Thing Up turned into a full cultural anthem, blasting from every block, every club, and every radio station like a takeover you couldn't avoid.
We just don't get on together. We don't get on. Like, I don't fake it with people if I don't know you, if I ain't hang out with you, I don't do that. Everywhere I got out, shout out to Cash Money, man, for doing what they gotta do. I respect that they come from my hood. I wanna see them win. I wanna see them eat.
Magnolia suddenly had superstars who could stand toe-to-toe with anything coming out of Calliope, and the city felt that energy instantly. But what really set Cash Money apart was the sound. They had something nobody else was doing at that level. No Limit came with that gritty, brass-heavy, marching band vibe, straight street energy all day. But Cash Money tapped into pure New Orleans bounce power, and Manny Fresh cooked up beats that were funky, melodic, and straight addictive. The artists added their own slick hustler aura, flashy, confident, full of charm, and always ready to talk a little louder than the next person. By 1999, Cash Money had taken over in a major way.
Master P. It was a rumor that it started from 15,000 to 30,000 to 100,000 dollar hit out on me. He didn't know me, I didn't know him, and they had a rumor that I had killed this.
Bling Bling wasn't just a hit. It turned into everyday slang across the entire country, becoming part of the culture like it had always been there. For a moment in the late 90s, No Limit and Cash Money were running hip-hop side by side like two giants holding it down for the whole South. You couldn't talk about rap, mainstream or underground, without mentioning one of these crews, because New Orleans had two kings at the same time, each with their own army and their own blueprint for success. But early 99 is when things really started heating up. Fans were choosing sides, arguments were popping up everywhere, and the question became loud: No Limit or Cash Money? For years, No Limit held the crown with non-stop releases, bold branding, and massive visibility. But around 1999, Cash Money came swinging hard, and people felt the shift instantly. To the public, it didn't look like a beef at all. No diss tracks, no shady interviews, no messy run-ins at shows. Master P and Birdman kept everything clean in the spotlight, almost like nothing was brewing at all. But people tied to the streets said the real story was happening behind closed doors. According to folks who were actually around back then, the tension wasn't really between the artists themselves, because a lot of them grew up around each other or crossed paths in the New Orleans scene for years. Turk from Cash Money even said it straight up. "I wouldn't say the artists didn't get along. I'd say probably P and Baby." That line alone tells you the whole vibe. The soldiers were cool, but the bosses were moving on a quiet battlefield of their own. This wasn't a loud or chaotic beef. It was a silent chess match between two generals.
Did you and Master P ever have a conversation and work things out, or?
No, never.
Master P and Birdman weren't taking public shots at each other, but you could feel them making calculated moves, each one trying to outmaneuver the other without ever saying a word. And the first spark came from a business situation that went sideways or got blocked, depending on who tells the story. Back in the mid-90s, both No Limit and Cash Money were grinding hard to land major distribution so they could push their labels to a global level. Master P scored first with that legendary Priority Records deal, so naturally Birdman and Slim pulled up to Priority too, hoping to secure their own shot. But Birdman said that meeting didn't last long at all because Master P allegedly told Priority he would walk away from his deal if they even thought about signing Cash Money. That shut the whole situation down instantly. Cash Money eventually bounced back with that huge $30 million Universal deal, which ended up flipping their future in a major way. But let's be real, nobody forgets getting blocked like that. And a lot of fans believe that moment made the tension between both camps feel personal. To many people watching from the outside, it looked like Master P was guarding his territory hard, making sure Cash Money couldn't climb the same ladder he did. And that wasn't the only moment folks were side-eyeing either. In 2000, Master P dropped a straight-to-video action movie called Hot Boys, and the movie had zero connection to Birdman's group, the Hot Boys, but the timing had everyone talking. The Hot Boys were at their peak, their name was buzzing everywhere, and suddenly P releases a movie with the exact same title. Fans were like, come on, there's no way that's random. Was it a diss or just business? Either way, the move added even more pressure to the quiet rivalry bubbling between both camps. And even if it wasn't a direct shot, it definitely had people talking loud. Fans saw the Hot Boys movie title and instantly felt like it was a slick jab, or at least a smooth, slightly petty way for Master P to tap into the wave Cash Money had created. And right when everybody was still arguing about that move, P came with another play that had the whole city talking. He introduced the 504 Boys, a name pulled straight from the New Orleans area code, and it had people raising their eyebrows quick. It felt like No Limit was rolling out their own version of the Hot Boys, just dressed up with different branding. Not an open shot, but the timing, the style, the energy, it all felt way too calculated to be an accident. Then came the rumor that really spiced things up. Back in the late 90s, word around the music circles was that Master P was trying to scoop up some of Cash Money's rising stars behind the scenes. Turk even said that back in the day, whispers were floating that P tried to sign both him and a young Lil Wayne to No Limit. Master P never confirmed it, but the rumor alone says a lot. Even the possibility shows just how competitive things were between the two camps, because imagine the face of Cash Money flipping sides. That would have been a straight up power grab. From Birdman's perspective, the tension only hit deeper. Years later in 2015, when Lil Wayne was dealing with money issues and album delays, Master P slid in at the perfect moment and dropped a collab with Wayne called Power, and fans noticed instantly. On the surface, it looked like two Southern giants linking up for the culture, but anybody really paying attention could feel the message underneath. It looked like P was stepping straight into Cash Money's internal drama, showing support for Wayne at a time when Birdman was already catching heat from his own squad in the media. That move had to sting, even if nobody said it out loud. But here's the wild part. Even with all the subtle shots, strategic plays, quiet shade, and slick timing, both Master P and Birdman kept it smooth whenever the cameras turned on. No diss tracks, no messy interviews, no public breakdowns. Just clean professionalism every time. They might not have been friends, but they moved with a certain mutual respect, keeping their battle quiet while the streets kept the real story alive. Even though the bosses made everything look polished in public, people close to the street were saying something totally different. The real tension between these camps ran way deeper, straight down to the neighborhoods they came from. Master P grew up in the Calliope projects, while Birdman and the whole Cash Money circle were rooted in the Magnolia projects, and anybody who knows New Orleans history knows those areas had long-standing conflict that didn't just fade away. These weren't just neighborhoods, they were zones filled with long history, real pressure, and years of issues stacked between them. So when both No Limit and Cash Money started blowing up in the late 90s, the energy between Calliope and Magnolia didn't cool off at all. It actually heated up even more. People who lived through that era said the tension from the streets slipped straight into the hip-hop world without missing a beat. One person from NOLA put it plain: there was beef between Magnolia and Calliope, and folks understood exactly what that meant back then. Sadly, this wasn't just neighborhood talk. Real situations went down, and people connected to both sides, whether directly or just by being around the wrong place at the wrong time, ended up losing their lives during that period. The atmosphere was heavy, and everybody in the city felt it one way or another. And whenever the street side of Cash Money comes up, one name always gets mentioned: Terrence "Gangster" Williams. Birdman's half-brother wasn't just another face from Magnolia. He carried a major reputation in the city. People said he was tied to a long list of serious street situations, and he was a key figure in the original street crew called The Hot, long before the rap group ever used that name. While Birdman and Slim were locked in on turning Cash Money into a powerhouse, Terrence was still deep in the street lifestyle, and that's where the story takes a much darker turn. In the late 90s, Master P's cousin Randall Watts was tragically taken in New Orleans, and the whole city started buzzing instantly. One name kept getting whispered through the streets: Terrence "Gangsta" Williams, and that rumor alone shook the entire scene. That talk pushed the already tense situation between both camps into even more dangerous territory. People inside Master P's circle were convinced Terrence played a role in what happened to Randall, and that belief sparked serious pressure in the streets. According to Terrence himself, folks were saying Master P was so sure he was involved that he allegedly put a bounty on his head. The first number floating around was about $15,000. But like most rumors, it didn't stay small for long. Soon people were talking like the price had jumped all the way up to $100,000, which only made the situation feel heavier. Terrence has always denied having anything to do with Randall's case, and in a 2024 interview, he doubled down, calling the whole story a huge misunderstanding. He even said he once had a short conversation with someone from P's family who confirmed that Master P wanted payback after the tragedy. But Terrence also said he never got the chance to speak to P directly and clear the air, which left everything hanging in a cloud of confusion. At this point, whether the full truth will ever come out is anyone's guess. But one thing is clear: the tension behind the scenes was serious, and the pressure wasn't coming from just one direction. The problems between No Limit and Cash Money were messy, complicated, and allegedly ran both ways, making the whole era feel like a storm nobody fully understood. A lot of the details from that era are still foggy, but the whispers back then were loud, and they were everywhere. People in the neighborhoods talked like close associates from each camp were being targeted or harmed as part of some bigger power struggle that stretched way beyond music. One rumor that kept circling claimed somebody tied to Cash Money had a role in the passing of someone close to Master P. Folks were saying a well-known hustler connected to Cash Money was involved in the slaying of P's brother. But when you look at the real reports, the story doesn't add up at all. Master P's brother Kevin Miller lost his life during a robbery that went wrong, not from any organized hit tied to label beef or crew conflict. That rumor simply didn't match the facts, even though people repeated it nonstop. Then on the flip side, another rumor popped up claiming someone linked to No Limit was behind the passing of one of Birdman's sisters, but that one was off too. None of Birdman's sisters were taken by street violence. One of them sadly passed away in a car accident in 2006, which had nothing to do with any tension between camps. Still, the fact that these stories spread like wildfire tells you how charged the atmosphere was back then. The streets were tense, the music scene was booming, and the smallest rumor felt like it could spark something huge, even when the truth was way different. Even when the truth didn't match the rumors, the fear and suspicion in the city were real, and it showed just how deep this quiet rivalry actually ran. People felt the pressure, even when the facts didn't line up with the talk. If you want a situation that's documented, not just whispers, the early tension between No Limit's Mystical and Cash Money's Yellow Boy from UNLV stands out big time. This drama even sparked before Mystical signed with No Limit, but once he joined the tank, all that old energy came with him and added even more chaos to the mix. Back in 1994, Mystical's sister was tragically taken, and the pain pushed him to drop a raw, emotional track called Murderer. In that song, he pointed the blame straight at Yellow Boy, and the whole city felt the shock right away. It was personal, it was heated, and it left a real mark on the scene. Fast forward to 1997, and Yellow Boy was shot and lost his life in New Orleans. And a lot of people assumed it was connected to that earlier situation with Mystical's sister. Even though nobody was ever officially tied to it at all, the streets talked, but the truth was never confirmed. Neither Master P nor Birdman had anything to do with that conflict. This was strictly between the artists themselves. But once Mystical became a No Limit soldier, that old tension got absorbed into the bigger storm surrounding both camps, whether they wanted it or not. No Limit ended up inheriting that hostility, and from there, everything only got messier as the rivalry between the two worlds kept growing louder beneath the surface. Terrence "Gangsta" Williams later claimed the tension between No Limit and Cash Money wasn't just about neighborhoods or personal losses. He said outside forces were stirring the pot too. According to him, shady officers and a local heavyweight in the streets were spreading lies, flipping stories, and playing both sides against each other. In a city like New Orleans during the 90s, where everything was already unstable, one rumor could turn into a tragedy fast. One false word, one misunderstanding, and somebody could end up hurt or worse, and everybody knew how quick things could shift back then. With that kind of pressure floating around, it makes sense why Birdman and Master P barely crossed paths in person, even though they were two legends from the same city living close enough to run into each other. The atmosphere was too dangerous, and one unexpected meetup could have brought the wrong type of energy. Nobody wanted that, especially with so much history and so many loyal people around them ready to react at the slightest sign of trouble. One random run-in could have turned into something tragic real quick, so both camps kept their distance, and honestly, that probably saved lives back then. But even years later, that quiet tension still pops up every now and then. A perfect example happened in 2022 during a Hot Boys reunion show in New Orleans when Master P pulled up as a surprise guest and the crowd went crazy. The whole event was organized by the mayor to celebrate the city's hip-hop legacy, bringing two eras of greatness under one roof. But according to Terrence "Gangsta" Williams, Birdman wasn't feeling that surprise at all. From his perspective, it looked like a slick little disrespect, like the city was giving Master P extra shine on his home turf at his crew's event, and that hit different. Even with all the history between them, Birdman didn't see it as just a simple guest appearance. It felt personal to him, and even though most people thought the moment was harmless, for Birdman it seemed like the city was brushing up against old scars that never fully healed. It also reminded everyone that New Orleans still shows love to both No Limit and Cash Money, no matter how complicated things got between the bosses over the years. The situation stirred up so much conversation that it hit headlines again in 2024, proving these old dynamics still carry weight today. Now it's your turn. What do you think about all this? Should Master P and Birdman finally sit down and clear the air, or is this one of those situations better left untouched? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let your voice be heard. And make sure you subscribe to Dripzine, share this video, comment, like, and hit that hype this video button to help the channel grow. It's free and it helps a lot. Thank you.